Hello, I'm James Currie with the Communication Department, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm talking to my favorite person in the whole entire world, Claris Perkins, RD, registered dietitian. Claris, how are you, my friend?
I'm great, James. How are you?
I'm so good that you can't even see me how good I am.
I'm
So,
so-
Claris, this is the week of Thanksgiving, and we're going to talk about all of the wonderful things that occurred during Thanksgiving that, well, no, we're not. We're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about food, and we're going to talk about,
Food is the primary wonderful thing that happens during Thanksgiving, though.
it is, that's right. And if you're a turkeytarian, it's your favorite week. So, Claris, there are also some terrible things that can happen during Thanksgiving week. Somebody could eat too much. They could eat the wrong amounts of things, portion control, right? So,
Right.
um, and people with diabetes have to be very mindful of this week, right? So, talk a little bit about diabetes and diet.
Yeah, so at the risk of sounding like a huge Grinch, I often tell my patients with diabetes that unfortunately, diabetes does not go on holiday. It doesn't know that it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or a cruise. You know, it's the same every day. And so unfortunately, if you have diabetes, it is really important that you remain as consistent as possible. And I know that is very challenging. Um, but watching this and just thinking ahead of time and being prepared before you walk into Thanksgiving or Christmas or a cruise or a buffet can make you that much more capable of making a smarter choice.
Yeah, I know we were joking here just a moment ago, but yeah, diabetes is a very, very serious issue, and it's easy to it's easy to get caught up in the moment of that week, right? And to forget all of the things that every dietitian in the world preaches and teaches to people. And like you just said, so what if someone is tempted? We talked at different times about a cheat day here and there and stuff like that. So what do you do if you're diabetic and you're tempted during Thanksgiving?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really hard because, if you have diabetes and you are enjoying Thanksgiving with people that don't, it can feel really isolating. I'm sure you feel like you can't enjoy things the same way as other people. You can't have things that other people can have. And that is really brutal and it's hard. But the most important part of any meal, and if you have diabetes, you know this, is making choices. And I know that is oversimplifying it, but I encourage my patients to aim for 3 servings of foods that turn into sugar at each meal. A serving is going to be about the size of your fist.
Hmm.
And this would be, if we're talking about Thanksgiving, this would be your dressing or stuffing, any form of potatoes, whether it's sweet, mashed, cheesy, whatever. This is going to be your rolls. This is even going to be cranberry sauce, drinks, beans. Help me out, James. What else do you eat for Thanksgiving?
Um,
Desserts,
yeah, desserts. I mean, that's probably there's a whole
corn
table.
casseroles.
Yeah.
Yeah, those types of things are going to be the foods that turn into sugar. So you would need to think ahead and say, okay, what are my 3 favorites? What are you so excited about that you go to bed just dreaming about it for Thanksgiving? I love dressing and I love cranberry sauce. I also, if my mom makes the roll, I really like that too. So for me, that's 3. I
Hmm.
don't really care for pie, don't like pie. So I'm not really, for me, that's not where I want to spend my sugar.
Right.
You try your best. You look at your fist, that's as close as we can get, and say, okay, I want to stay around 3 servings of those foods. And like I said, you make a choice as best as you can. Now, that's the actual meal. I do think there's a lot that we can think about before Thanksgiving and after Thanksgiving. I would definitely have breakfast. With diabetes, you want to eat 3 meals a day. because you want your blood sugar to stay as level as possible.
Mhm.
If you skip that breakfast, your sugar's going to go down, then you're going to have that meal and it's going to spike up. But if you eat something, try to have some eggs, some good protein, you're more likely to keep that even blood sugar throughout the day. And then you're not going to show up to Thanksgiving starving and then overeating.
Right. So, the main thing is, don't change your routine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, yes, it is Thanksgiving and it's centered around a meal and family and not doing much else except maybe watching the Macy's Day Parade and a bunch of balloons and definitely football for sure. But sometime in there, you got to get off the couch. So, what do you recommend about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So exercise is a good resource to have just any day, but even on Thanksgiving. So movement, when we move and exercise, what your body is burning is sugar. So if you are checking your blood sugar and your sugar is above 180, go for a walk. Get some movement in. Maybe you go for a walk that morning and start the day with some activity. Any of those things will help bring your sugar down and keep it at a healthier level. And that can absolutely be a good thing for you to do.
Maybe diabetics or families that have diabetics, maybe they start a new tradition where after you eat a meal, you all go for a family walk or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got to be mindful, of the diabetics cause. I mean, it's a tough world to live in, when you're tempted by all of these delicious things. So,
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a walk. Think about what your family dynamic looks like. If you have a lot of young kids, maybe y'all play tag or hide and seek, even just any form of movement. It can be silly and fun, but that movement does have an impact on your blood sugar and keeping it healthy.
could you even set up a horseshoe ring?
Horseshoe ring, like when you toss the horseshoes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That to me,
That's
that feels a
exercise.
little less
Okay.
like exercise and a little more recreational. Um,
It was a
but
trick.
if
It
you
was a
if
trick
you like
question.
that,
Hey, it was a trick question. It's okay.
oh, okay. Did I
Yeah.
did I pass?
Yeah. You opted to talk about doing something else and a walk and a family dynamic, which is okay. You redeemed
Hmm.
yourself, which is good.
Thank you.
Anything else since you're wearing a purple jacket today? Anything else about diabetes?
Um, well, there's a lot about diabetes, but I think those are just some solid tips. Think about it ahead of time, decide what your favorite sides are. There are no surprises at Thanksgiving. We know what's going to be there.
Mhm.
And then just decide how you want to spend your sugar, like I said earlier. Which things are most worth it to you. Do especially be careful with drinks. I do just like to remind everybody that anything like a Gatorade, Powerade, Kool-Aid, Minute Maid, sweet tea, juice, soda, punch, they all have the same amount of sugar. And one cup, can, or bottle is enough sugar to be 2 candy bars. So that is something that adds up really quickly. I personally would rather eat the sugar than I would drink it. I feel like that goes a little bit further, especially at Thanksgiving. So just do be very mindful of those choices that you make. And if you check your blood sugar on a regular basis, do continue doing so and be very diligent around the holiday.
Okay, well, Claris, thank you so much for hitting all those high notes. There are a lot of things to be mindful about during Thanksgiving week. And I guess the main takeaway is, hey, if you're a diabetic, don't change a thing. Don't change a single thing. If anything, add a little bit more movement or exercise. And the other things you mentioned too, that people kind of forget about is be mindful of drinks. That's a very smart tip. So Claris, thank you for being on Wellness Wednesday and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Happy Thanksgiving, James.
Thank you.